Van Coyle.
Hello, good evening. Welcome. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live from our news about Shatta Wale, also live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook and on DSTV channel 279. We're all across the world on 3news.com. I am Alfred Ocansey. Tonight, dancehall artist Shatta Wale expresses gratitude to officials of the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, following his release from custody on bail, where he was held as part of ongoing investigations. Now, we bring you the latest development on this matter and address some of the lingering questions. And Shatta Wale did a video after he was released, and very interesting in that video. Stay with us. We'll get into it here on Ghana Tonight. Also, Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association insists the police must intensify efforts to arrest Ralph St. William and his associate, who allegedly assaulted health workers at the Accra Regional Hospital. They're also requesting for security to be strengthened at health facilities. We'll hear from them. Stay with us. Also, the Africa celebrates one of its own as Media General's Godwin Asediba emerges winner of the highly coveted BBC Komla Dumont Award for 2025. Now, we've conquered the continent again. Second time in the last 3 years. He joins us tonight for a quick chat. As always, you're an integral part of this celebration tonight. As always, connect with us on Facebook and on X. It's Ghana Tonight. We're streaming on YouTube as well on TV3 Ghana. Let's hear you. Let's settle for Ghana Briefs.
Guinean dancehall artist Charles Nyama Mensah, popularly known as Shatta Wale, has expressed gratitude to officers of the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, his fans and well-wishers who came through for him while he was in detention undergoing investigation. This follows his release from the custody of EOCO after meeting varied bail conditions of 5 million cedis and 2 sureties. Former Adansi Asokwa MP Kobina Tahiru Hammond has given the strongest indication yet off to appeal the legal costs awarded against him in pursuit of the Adansi Asokwa parliamentary seat. His initial election petition was quashed by the court after he failed to file the necessary documents in good time. Speaking to journalist Katie Hammond explained his next line of action.
And I'm told that the judge awarded 60,000 or so. Well, I'm appealing. And now you should know that this time I'm appealing in my own right. I would put my own signature. I'm appealing as the appellant in person. I'm not going to go to any lawyer. I'll do it, you know. So, yeah, no, the cost of that. If you draw your case, you can't go and appeal. But the cost of 60,000, I think it's completely unfair.
The Minister of Health has cautioned members of the general public and patients alike against attacks on any health professional regardless of any level of provocation at health institutions across the country. Kwabena Minta Kando at a press conference also condemned the reoccurrence of attacks on his person and incitement of violence by leadership of some associations.
Nobody, irrespective of your status in society, absolutely nobody has the right to attack any health professional in this country. That is the gravamen of the issue. No diversionary tactics about handshaking. That is what we must concentrate on, to send a clear signal that our health professionals working at the various health facilities are safe.
Media General's Godwin Asediba has been announced the 2025 BBC News Komladumo Award winner. This makes it the second time a journalist for Media General is receiving the prestigious award. In 2023, Pakwesi Asare became the first from the media house to win the honor. Asediba's recognition adds to Media General's influence in the media industry. At TV3, where Asediba anchors and reports, the general manager for news, Astas Ahiadle, says the award is a fitting recognition of his dedication and brilliance.
This is about our first in news agenda, and Gordon represents that agenda very well. This award, we believe, will go and inspire a lot of the news teams in Media General to also inspire Ghanaian journalists and to inspire a lot of confidence in the journalism that Ghanaians are doing. We are very proud that it came from one of our own. This is the second time that is happening to Ghana, and it's in all such instances that happen to Media General, and we are very proud of that.
The Bank of Ghana has moved to tighten control of the foreign exchange market, stopping large companies from making foreign currency cash withdrawals from banks unless they have matching deposits. The central bank says the practice by bulk oil distributors and mining firms has been draining liquidity and weakening efforts to stabilize the city. The central bank is cracking down on what it calls an unhealthy practice in the foreign exchange market.
There's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live as well on 3FM 92.7, also on TV3 Ghana on YouTube and on Facebook as well as DSTV channel 27. And as always, probably brought to you by Flamingo Paint, Simply Superior, Sasso Insecticide Spray and Coil, Kumtumtum Preco. Coming up next here on Ghana Tonight. This is a story that we broke last night, just around the same time. Dancehall artist Shatta Wale out of detention, and thanks the Economic and Organized Crime Office EOCO officials. What led to his arrest and what comes next after his release on bail? He is breathing freedom, temporarily right now, after the bail conditions were varied. We'll tell you what the latest bail conditions are that he met, leading to his release earlier today, that's this evening. But dancehall artist Shatta Wale, as we do know, he's expressed gratitude to the Economic and Organized Crime Office EOCO officials, including the boss of EOCO, that's Raymond Acha, after he was released on bail earlier today. Now, this is very uncharacteristic of him. I mean, if you recall, the first instance that EOCO had any encounter with Shatta Wale, it's a little over a week ago. He went on social media. He didn't have very kind words for EOCO and Raymond Acha, but this time around, it was a different song that Shatta Wale sang for EOCO and also Raymond Acha. We're going to play that song to you. It all came in words, no rhythms. But Shatta Wale is clear in his words that the staff of EOCO were of great assistance to him, and he's been in custody of the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, over the last 24 hours or so, with the investigative agency also looking into matters that they have clearly stated interest in. He was released after meeting the varied bail bond of 5 million cedis with 2 sureties. So that's the new bail bond, the varied one, 5 million cedis with 2 sureties, as against the previous of 10 million cedis with 2 sureties. Shatta Wale was invited, as we do know now, to EOCO's offices on August 20, that was yesterday, to assist in investigations into the purchase of a 2019 Lamborghini Urus, which has been linked to proceeds of a $4 million crime involving one Nana Kwabena Amoah, a Ghanaian currently serving a prison term in the United States. We'll tell you who this Nana Kwabena Amoah is for the uninitiated, but Shatta Wale's public relations manager, Sami Flex, has also been speaking to the media after his release. We're going to take a listen to Sami Flex right now, all right? and then we'll tell you what Shatta Wale said. But this is his manager, PR manager. Take a look.
I am actually not coming to do Q&A. I'm here to supply information to you guys, and that's it. The good news is that Shatta Wale has been granted bail and he has been released. Finally, at the moment, he's been released to go home. Once again, another good news is that the bail conditions was reduced from 10 million to 5 million Ghana cedis with 2 sureties. And that is what we are all happy about. So to the media guys who came to cover this event, to the fans especially, and to the management people, as well as some friends and supporters of Shatta movement, we want to say we are grateful. God bless you so much, and thank you for your continuous support. Shatta Wale is ever grateful to you guys for whatever you've done for him. I'm sure from time to time you guys will be hearing from him very soon. So to everybody around the world watching, Shatta Wale has been given bail and he's been released. Thank you so
no question. I hope you will not.
Relations manager for Shatta Wale, that's Sami Flex as is widely known, talking to the media after Shatta Wale's release earlier this evening. After that, he met this 5 million cedis and 2 sureties. It's a varied bail condition. Earlier, he was slapped with 10 million cedis with 2 sureties. That was what they couldn't meet, reason why he had to spend the night in the coolers of Iyoko. But prior to this moment of his release, as was expected, hundreds of the SM family members thronged the Iyoko premise, that's the frontage of Iyoko, to show solidarity and support for the SM man himself. A number of them had very interesting things to say before Shatta Wale's release. In fact, some of them still did not believe that he was released because they wanted to hear him see that he's been released before they leave the premises. Take a look.
But kidney, I can sell my kidney. I can even sell my kidney. I'll sell my kidney for that money. Anything. I'm ready. SM till casket. I'm ready to even sell my kidney.
Love you get for Shatta Wale. Well, Shatta Wale's love is undescribable. You know, Shatta Wale is Ghana's Abraham. You understand? Abraham means father of all nations. You understand? Shatta Wale is like, let me say, a president. You know, once the Nkrumah is dead, his name is still alive. That's Wale. Wale will live till. So just let's all reign peace. Release Wale, then we go on peacefully. We don't want any conflict or something, you understand? Yeah. If you can't keep Wale here forever. So once he's there, we can be here. If he's going to be there forever, we are going to be here forever. I swear to God, yeah. How long have you been here? I've been here 6 months now. That's miss our life, so they have to free us. And how long are you willing to stay here if he's still not really? Yeah, we are still here. We are still waiting for SM.
Wow, that's the love there for Shatta Wale, Charles Nyama Mensah Jr. But let's backtrack a bit. We'll take you every step of the way from how this matter evolved from last night when we broke this story. It has evolved in a very interesting, rapid way, ended in a very uncharacteristic way of Shatta Wale not going ballistic as we know him to be, but very sober in the latest video, which we're going to show you in a bit. But Dennis Paberi Wadam Esquire is with me in the studio. It's good to have you, Dennis.
Always a pleasure being here, Alfred.
How much do you love someone to sell your kidney?
That's a question
for the release of this person that you love. I mean,
we are talking about the king of the street, if you like.
Absolutely.
The man they love to call him pa, then with the sign.
Yeah.
I mean, we actually didn't expect this to happen because the word was out there that stay calm, lawyers are in charge. But of course, the love is the kind that you cannot stop them. People were willing to pass the night there if they did not see. In fact, at a point when there was lawyers are in charge, but of course, the love is the kind that you cannot stop them. People were willing to pass the night there if they did not see. In fact, at a point when there was even news that he had left the premises. Some of them still were...
No. They said they wanted to see. Because
they were skeptical about it.
There's a signal that they were expecting from him. If they don't
Precisely.
get the signal, they're not moving. But Yoko issued a statement, and it appears that there's a lot more... The case of Shatta Wale
Yoko basically has been telling us what the outcome of their engagements with Shatta Wale has been within the last 24 hours during the interrogation period up to this morning, when they were expecting that bail conditions will be, bail conditions will be executed for him to be released. But when you look at it on the totality of it, some of the things we do know or we have heard about before, some of them are entirely new things. And we'll just look at that very briefly. But the thing that Yoko is saying is the reason for which he was detained. Yes, that his management had indicated yesterday. He was on a 10 million CD bail with 2 sureties. It appeared they were unable to meet that bail condition at the time, so he had to pass the night at the custody of Yoko. Now, there's also the other matter of why really he's been investigated for this matter. Because you recall that after the management of Shatta Wale released that statement to indicate what was going on, they also came later to explain what they thought was misinformation out there, and that some things were attributed to him which were indeed not the case.
Right.
But when you look at what Yoko is saying, it still takes us back to the same point of the earlier narrative that we had indicated. It has everything to do with that Lamborghini Urus that was taken away from him somewhere there about May, June, and that particular car or vehicle is suspected to be proceeds of crime in respect of one other person who is now a convict in the United States.
And who is this gentleman we're talking about?
We are talking about Kwabena Amwa.
I see. And the details of this statement, the statement we're putting out there is what Yoko issued today.
Yes. So this exactly is the basis for Yoko investigating Shatta Wale. Now let's read it. That to assist investigations surrounding the 2019 Lamborghini Urus, a car identified by the FBI in the U.S. U.S. Justice Department as proceeds of a $4 million crime involving one Nana Kwabena Amwa, a Ghanaian who is currently serving jail term in the U.S. Now, when you look at this, it does not appear that it's an issue of tax, as Shatta Wale's management wanted us to believe, and for which they wanted to dismiss any other thing that was attributed to him. This is an official statement coming from Yoko. At a point, they even wanted to raise doubts as to the authenticity of that statement that initially came from Yoko.
True.
We can say for a fact that for statements like this, we get them from the source.
That's Yoko.
Yoko itself.
Okay,
yes.
Great.
So what were the findings? Yoko says that upon interrogation, Shatta Wale has been unable to identify the person from whom he purchased the said Lamborghini Urus vehicle, except to say that he purchased it from the street and from someone possibly called Zach.
Possibly?
Yes.
So that it could not be the name of this person.
Somebody possibly called Zach.
He said he purchased it from the streets.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Well, streets like
like a carport by the roadside or what?
Perhaps. So not in an identified marketplace where you can really go to check, there are specified places where you can go and get cars.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But like he said in his other video, when he said that for him, sometimes he's there and somebody calls to say that I have this car, if you are interested. Perhaps
this is what, because this person possibly called Zach, how did he get to Shatta Wale?
Now we are building that point.
Good.
That from the streets and from someone possibly called Zach, who may have contacted him on WhatsApp, but whose identity he does not know and whose contact he has thrown away.
Wait, so this supposed Zach person
reached out to him
on WhatsApp.
via WhatsApp.
So they never met in person?
He does not know the person's identity, except the person is possibly called Zach, and that the person's contact he has thrown away. And that's how I link it to that his first live video, which he did with so much energy and passion, where he tried to explain how he buys some of his vehicles or his cars. In there, he says that there are times that people just call him and tell him about a certain car, and then they have a negotiation, he pays, then he gets the car.
I see. So he doesn't meet some of them in person, as in the case of this Zach.
At least
they never
in this
met.
one.
If what he's saying is anything to go by.
But the new thing here is that in that previous video, he had said he bought the car from a third party whose name he did not mention.
Right.
So the only new thing that we are getting here now, that he attributes a possible name to it,
Zach.
which is Zach, and how they got in touch, and then the status of their relationship now, as to whether he has the person's contact or not.
So he doesn't have the person's contact?
He says the contact, he has thrown it away.
Anyway. What
now,
next?
what's more, Iyoko says Shatta Wale does not possess any documentation in terms of receipts or transfer documents which shows that he owns or purchased the said vehicle, except a custom declaration document in his possession bearing the name of Nana Kwabena Amoah, who is currently in jail. Now, this is also new information.
Indeed.
New information because Shatta Wale had said categorically in that live video that he did not know this said Nana Kwabena Amoah.
Who is a subject of...
Who is the subject, whose proceeds, no, who is a convict now, and whose properties they are tracing in respect of the crime for which he has been convicted and sentenced.
Absolutely. And,
So
and
in
that's
essence,
why the Lamborghini comes into
play.
Okay.
In essence, they are saying that that Lamborghini is for this person. And that's why they're twisting it. Yes.
Kwabena
Amoah.
Who is currently in jail.
Yes, but Shatta Wale has said that he doesn't know.
But the custom declaration document bears the name.
Which he shows them today bears this particular name.
Right.
Yes. At least it's new revelation. But it's one thing knowing somebody and another thing having the person's name on the document.
Absolutely.
That is also a fair assessment to make.
So you can grant him that?
Yes.
Okay.
So by far, this is the information that Iyoko has been able to elicit from him. But upon further engagements, the bail was varied for him. The bail conditions were varied for him. From 10 million, we understand it came to 5 million with 2 sureties which were executed, and he was granted bail. Now, what it means is that because the investigation is ongoing, he's on bail pending further investigation.
I see.
So this is the generality of the matter as it has happened between last night and this evening, when Shatta Wale has now been released, and he's now thanking all the people who have played roles in his release, including the very same people he had initially accused of an abuse of power and
all of that.
Yes.
And you make the point quite clearly about how sober and reflective he sounded and looked in the video after his release earlier this evening. It tells you a lot has gone on, or a lot took place in the last 24 hours that got him to also understand why things are going the way they're going. But let's take a look at Shatta Wale's latest video after his release and the Thanksgiving. Take a look.
Shatta is safe, you know, your king is safe, Wandon is safe, and I'm home now, and I just want to say a big thank you for supporting, you know, and for being around me in times like this, because I needed you guys, you know, the most, because you guys are the ones that hold me down. Once again, I want to say, you know, a big thank you to everybody that has been in support of this, you know. Shouts to Neo Original Wandon, you know, who has been a father to me too, and he's been very supportive too as well. You know. To all the staff of Iyoko, you guys have been wonderful. At least I came there, you guys really took me through that rightful processes that, you know, was needed, and I just want to say God bless you, and to Mr. Remonacha, I just want to tell you, I thank you so much.
That's a clear departure from what we know. It's uncharacteristic,
calm and collected,
very sober,
straight to the point.
And contrary to what we saw earlier, he's now thanking Remonacha,
and everybody who has
what has happened.
But Alfred, it's also instructive to see that in that live video, which was on the 5th of April, when you read portions of the EOCO statement that they issued today, it does appear some of the things that Shatta Wale said in that video provoked his invitation for further questioning.
Right.
You recall one of the things he said was that he had bought the Lamborghini for 150,000. EOCO in parts of the statement say that when he mentioned that, then they extended an invitation for him to appear on the 13th of August for them to ask further questions. And that's clearly, it's well in order.
True.
Because they are tracing proceeds of crime. That is to say, you have in your possession an item which has been involved, is a proceed of an unlawful activity. Now you say you bought this at a certain price. Sometimes, depending on how much you buy an item, raises suspicion as to whether it was a legitimate transaction or not.
Right.
That is not to say that this is not good enough to buy that car. Because it depends on the kind of arrangement you have.
Absolutely.
But once it raises suspicion, then the law enforcement agencies would have to come in to ask further questions. And that's the reason they were asking, show us documents, show us the person that you bought it from, how you got in touch with the person and all that. I'm sure the information that they have now, well, if they feel it is good enough that they can proceed to prosecute, that is the things that we're looking forward to as to how EOCO is going to deal with this information that they've gathered from Shatta Wale moving forward.
It's a very important derivative there. But stay with me, Dennis, because we'll get into other aspects that you point to. Justice Abdullahi is a private legal practitioner and also a lecturer at the UPSA Law Faculty. He's joining us on Zoom. Thank you, Counsel, for your time. Good evening. Now, that video we just played of Shatta Wale, a clear departure from what we saw previously. In the first instance, when EOCO visited him at home, he wasn't too happy, took a very wild dig at Raymond Archer and then the staff of EOCO. This time, do you get the sense that there's been some clarity and understanding and reason why he's thanking them, including Raymond Archer, for the past 24 hours, what he's been through, contrary to what his fans were thinking?
I think Shatta is a smart and a reasonable gentleman, beyond what we see on the surface sometimes, the rantings and all those things. It is obvious that the last couple of hours has revealed things to him that he naturally didn't envisage could possibly happen or was the case. I think the gravity of the situation has now dawned on him, and the part of deniability, I'm sure that he thought he was originally entitled to, and that his innocence could be discussed in public rather than the appropriate forum, has clearly dawned on him upon coming in direct contact with the gravity of the situation at hand. So I have been thinking of all the possible charges that EOCO could possibly level against him, judging by the tone of the communique that EOCO released earlier today. I came to the conclusion that depending on the nuances of this case, the gravity and the other aspects of it that we are probably not privy to at this point, because I do not think that even EOCO has the complexities of the entire case at hand. So if you notice, they refer to a judgment that was delivered in the United States, and within that judgment, the United States government was ordered to forfeit the assets of the man at the center of affairs who is alleged to be the owner of the vehicle, at least on paper, that the Lamborghini in question, who is currently in custody, that man. And so if you judge from that angle, it appears that this car is part of some of the assets that are being forfeited for the government of the United States. And so the crime that the gentleman in question might have committed in the United States, I mean, may be known from the judgment, obviously, because, but anything else outside of this whole thing can be possibly subject to the discretion of the FBI and the Department of Justice. Now, having said this, what I'm trying to get across is that with all these background information, and Shatta going on air stating that he bought the vehicle from someone at the cost of one ZAC at the cost of 150,000 USD, potentially you could be looking at dishonest receiving, if assuming that is even correct. I can't imagine a Lamborghini costing that low. And so, and in addition to the fact that being an asset belonging to the man in custody, convicted already in the United States, you could also be looking at yet other forms of crime, either by way of conspiracy or by way of an abetment to crime, all of which are grave enough to cause a lot of damage to Shatta Wale, our beloved young man. And so, naturally, with all these coming up, and I'm sure his lawyers and the officers of Yoko have taken the trouble to explain some of these dangers to him. And so he clearly is more sober, more reflective, and than he would naturally be. And we see this in Shatta expressing this level of gratitude to these people, contrary to what his supporters, all of us inclusive, and those on the street asking for his release, thought that that he had done or not done. People thought, at least those in the street demonstrating for his release, thought that maybe this was one of the unfair treatments to a young and successful artist. And until I'm sure all these matters came to light. And so we're in a different terrain. We all owe it to ourselves to be more careful, more prudent in our dealings. And I think Shatta is showing the way by expressing his gratitude in the way he's doing it. But unfortunately, that may not be the end of the case. I'm sure that is why he's more sober now. He understands that this may not be the end of the case. We do not know the extent to which the Department of State and the U.S. government would push this matter, and we do not know the extent to which Yoko would want to pursue whatever angles there may be in this case. It is possible that once the vehicle has been retrieved, they may decide to let sleeping dogs to lie and simply just return the vehicle to the United States or do whatever they believe it's appropriate, either by way of auctioning it here, getting some value and sending it back to their home country, or take other steps. It's possible that it will end right after what I've just said.
Right.
And it is also equally possible that if they believe, based on evidences or intelligence and evidence gathered, they believe that there are more players, more actors in this whole scheme,
right,
and more other people who possibly ought to be questioned.
Right, but there's a point you made in reference to the portion of the Yoko statement released earlier today, and we're going to put out on the screen. Let's see the portion where it talks about this Zach gentleman, and also the fact that he doesn't even have documentation, and this is the findings of Yoko after their interrogation over the last 24 hours. It says that one, Shatta Wale himself has been unable to identify the person from whom he purchased the said vehicle, except to say that he purchased it from the street lawyer and from someone possibly called Zach, who may have contacted him on WhatsApp, but whose identity he does not know and whose contact he has thrown away. He didn't also have documentation on this said vehicle. I mean, with all of this put together, how does this make his case, essentially?
So it is very easy for anyone in the shoes of Wale to put out that kind of defense. Mm-hmm. Indeed, your first line of defense is always denying these matters and the allegations. And so, and I'm sure, perhaps, just perhaps, that he might not want to disclose his sources. And he's entitled to that. And it could also be a genuine case of he not really engaging the seller the way maybe you would ordinarily engage sellers. And so possibly he engaged the seller like the way we all engage tomato vendors or vegetable vendors or any other vendor, pure water vendors in the streets. You just bought whatever bottle of water in traffic and you just drove on. Without the need in keeping track of the person's identity or anything else. Except that that sounds a bit too naive, because when it comes to buying of property generally, a lot more go into that. Even if you want to ignore the fact that the vehicle could be obtained as a result of a crime or commission of a crime, you would still be mindful of the fact that whoever you're buying a vehicle from must be the actual owner. And usually his identity would be disclosed on the surface of the paper, the documents evidencing the sale. So either by way of DVLA or by way of a port, what's it called, document. So you would find the person's name. These days, even your Ghana card numbers are indicated, your addresses and phone numbers are indicated on them because they are picked from the source. And so if you're an importer, the consignee's details are clearly spelled out. Or if you are not the importer, but you are the person clearing the goods, all these details would automatically be extracted from the National Identifications Authority by the GRE at the port of entry where you are paying your duty and all of that. And so these details are not too difficult to come by. And so even if you deny whoever you bought the vehicle from, which is possible, you could deny or you may not have knowledge at all, but the actual owner or the importer will be known. And that person can easily be traced through these mediums. And so it is very simplistic to simply say that you do not know the person or do not remember the person, but that will not be enough to protect the identity of the previous owner.
Right. And we'll see how the coming days will look like on this. And as you indicated, this is one that it's just the beginning of this case. He's been granted bail on this varied bail conditions of 5 million cedis, 2 sureties. Thank you so much, lawyer Justice Abdullahi. He is a lecturer at the UPSC Faculty of Law and then also a private legal practitioner. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. It's one that we'll keep an eye on and see how things play out. But coming up next, the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, they're demanding swift police action over alleged assault of health workers at the Accra Regional Hospital. They're also calling for tighter security at the health facilities across the country. Now, this is as a result of what happened, this video that's gone viral. And earlier today, the Minister of Health, Kwabena Kando, cautioned members of the general public and patients alike against attacks on any health professional, regardless of any level of provocation and health, that's at the health institutions across the country. Godwin Asediba, at a press conference earlier today, also condemned the recurrence of attacks on his person and incitement of violence by the leadership of some associations in the health sector. This was on the back of an alleged, in fact, this is captured on video, the attack on health personnel that's at the Ridge Hospital a few days ago. Take a look.
Nobody, irrespective of your status in society, absolutely nobody has the right to attack any health professional in this country. That is the gravamen of the issue. No diversionary tactics about handshaking. That is what we must concentrate on, to send a clear signal that our health professionals working at the various health facilities are safe. The gentleman then stretched his hand, shaking me and trying to whisper something into my ears. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, should I push the guy that don't whisper anything into my ears? Should I snub him? Should I shout at him? Even if that guy has been prosecuted and sentenced to life imprisonment, and he stretches his hand to shake me, as a minister, as a public officer, I have the duty to stretch and greet him. Let me state this, that I have the health workers of this country at heart. And so any attempt by any individual or any group of people to try to incite the health professionals against government, pretending he cares more than us, is unfortunate. And we must stop that. It's an avoidable tension we must avoid. It doesn't help the sector. If indeed you are a practicing health professional in the sector, it doesn't help the sector.
Well, the minister had earlier indicated that some arrests had been made. You also heard him clearly condemn these attacks on health workers and then also urging the public to desist from doing that. But beyond these assurances and the arrests that have been made, the Ghana Registered Nurse and Midwives Association say there's a lot more that needs to be done to protect their members. And this was in a statement they released not too long ago this evening. And this is portions of it. They say, one, that they're making demands that the Ghana Police Service must intensify their efforts in getting Ralph St. Williams and his accomplices arrested as soon as practically possible. So even though the health minister says there's been some arrest made as a result of that, we don't know the identities of these persons who have been arrested as a result of that incident at the Ridge Hospital. Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives say if Ralph St. Williams and his accomplices are not part of the persons who have been arrested, they want him and the others arrested too. That this will serve as a deterrent and assure nurses and other health workers at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, that's the Ridge Hospital, of their security and mitigate the impact of the trauma in terms of their mental health. Also, say we hold dear our nurses and midwives and respect the mandate they have entrusted us with. We therefore take this opportunity to assure every nurse and midwife out there that the leadership of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association will continue to serve your interest and protect you with all we have within the confines of the Constitution of Ghana, the Labour Act of 2003, Act 651, and the GRNMA Constitution. They say that our inpatient and outpatient department patients are important to us, and as their advocates, we will continue to campaign for a more resilient health system that guarantees quality and safe services. They assure the patients at Ridge Hospital of the continuous provision of nursing and midwifery services, and that Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives will not allow them to suffer unduly for the total disregard of law and order by Ralph St. Williams and his associates. They also say they're calling on their employers, that's the government, to strengthen security at all health facilities and assure them of partnership to improve the health system of Ghana, and treating the management of Ridge Hospital to provide psychological support for the nurse who sustained injuries from the attack and enhance general training of staff on coping mechanisms in managing the stress of their daily work schedules. Osingame is a labor consultant. He's joining us on the telephone. Osingame, thank you. You've seen this matter evolve up until this point where earlier today the health minister did talk about measures put in place, arrests that have been made, but there's a lot more that the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives want put in place. It's a good demand going forward, you would say?
So much. I think that this particular matter has brought about the need for the employer in particular and generally the whole country to take notice of the fact that we are reasonably well educated, we can read and write, but it's about time some new or some approach or some kind of reorientation is given to both the workers and the general public as to how we relate. Number one, it is important for the workers, the health workers in the various hospitals to take notice that the patients that come to them are equally very, very important to they themselves because they are the main customers that they have. All the patients are the main customers that they have. The patients also serve an important, part in the relationship as well. They serve as raw materials also for the learning of hospital, those who work as hospital workers, including doctors, including all other paramedics and so forth and so on. It's very, very important that they take notice of that. Whereas we, the people who go to the hospital to seek support from the health workers, including doctors, nurses, lab people, and so forth and so on, we must also see them as very important people who are there to serve us and protect our interests as well. So the two sides are very important. None is more important than the other.
Right.
But without the patients going to them, they don't have anybody as customers they can relate to. And sickness will never stop. It will always be there. And we will always go to the hospital. We also need them. So both parties are very, very important. So a new orientation is required to enable all of us to appreciate the importance and the important role each one plays.
Mm-hmm.
None is more important than the other.
Right. And I do appreciate you for this. Thank you so much for joining us with your very, very important thoughts on this matter. Osingame is a labor expert. This is Ghana Tonight. Coming up next after this quick break is a moment of celebration. Media Journal celebrates proud moments as Godwin Asediba wins the 2025 BBC Komla Dumont Award. The man of the moment joins us tonight for a conversation. It has been a long day of celebration, and we continue right after this quick break. Stay with us.
reporting from the Takoradi Market Circle.
From the heart of the Upper West Regional Capital.
From the heart of the Ashanti Kingdom.
Reporting from Sunyani.
From the Central Business District of Navrongo.
The parliamentarians are on recess.
This is where it all unfolds. The moments that potentially alters the course of our nation and the world. These are the individuals we recognize, the voices we amplify, who appears on screen and who contributes behind the scenes. With professionalism at our core, we bring you news you can trust, impact journalism that makes a difference. This illustrates how diverse perspectives enhance our strength and reinforces our mission. This is 3 News, leaders in breaking news, exclusive interviews, facts and analysis on TV, radio, online.
Each year, the BBC bestows this honor upon an African journalist who embodies excellence in storytelling, on-air presence, and the potential to illuminate the world. For Godwin, the journey to the moment has been topsy-turvy. 3 attempts, 1 unwavering dream. He persevered, and it's paid off. His win was announced today, August 21, 2025, marking not only his breakthrough moment, but also the 10th anniversary of the Komla Dumont Award itself.
I'm delighted to tell you that you're the 2025 winner of the BBC News Komla Award.
I don't even know if I should cry. Thank you. This is not just my win. I believe it's a win for every young African journalist. I am deeply honored and humbled to receive this award.
His portfolio is a map of difficult spaces. His stories cut deep, revealing truths others ignore. Troubled Morgue forced a reckoning with systems that fail families at their most vulnerable moments. Ghanaian men promised security jobs, sent to war in Ukraine, traced a pipeline of deception and danger that pulled ordinary Ghanaians into conflict abroad, documented not only their journey out, but also the long road home. In Hooked in Red, married to cocaine and high on glue, he followed the human toll of addiction. My period is not a shame. Use the lenses of menstrual health to highlight equality, education, and community solutions, among many other life-changing stories.
It's your day, please.
Godwin!
Yep, and that's it. Exactly what happened right from morning up until now. It's been a moment of celebration for us here at Media General. Godwin Asediba has been announced as the 2025 BBC News Komla Dumont Award winner. Look, we here at Media General have conquered Africa the second time in the last 3 years. This is the second time a journalist from Media General is receiving this prestigious award. Guess what? We have the man of the moment with us in the studio. Godwin Asediba. Congratulations to you, my brother.
Thank you, Alfred.
Wonderful. You look fresh. Oh.
Do I?
Did you go home?
Yes, of course, I went home. You guys actually woke me up from bed, but yeah, I had to be here.
Interesting. No, we can deal with that.
Yeah.
We can deal with that. Anyway, Godwin is joining us from the Studio C Annex here at Media General. There's quite a distance between us, but we're connected in many ways. And Dennis Baberi Wadam is with me right now. It's been a long day of celebration for you. I can imagine. How's the day been?
Is that to me?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it's been a fantastic day. I mean, I've had a lot of people who have called in. My phone has been buzzing since morning around 4 a.m. after the news was published on their portal. And, yeah, coming to Media General, having a whole glamorous, if I should say, welcoming. The CEO, COO, together with my bosses, Astas and Mabel, and my colleagues, all welcoming me in a grand style. I just felt so surreal, and I'm still living within the moment. I'm trying to let everything settle in. But then, yeah, it's all about the award, and I mean, I'm still excited about it, and I'm looking forward to the task ahead. You know, we all living on the legacy of Komla Dumor. We all know what he stood for as a journalist, for African journalists, and then for Ghana to be specific. So yes, looking forward to, you know, living his legacy. He's someone who has inspired me for a very long time, and for someone who has always stood for dignity and professionalism as a journalist. I know that this is just a very big space or opportunity that I find myself in, and have I been ready for this? Yes, I am, and I'm just looking forward to what the future has for me.
Always. I mean, you know what, when the announcement was made, and the number of people who were commenting about it across social media platforms reference one story or the other that you have done. So you embody that principle of impact journalism that defines Media General.
Thank you.
Right? And this is it. If you say that, being ready for it, I think you've been ready for it, Godwin. I mean, your stories tell it all. If you talk about impact, and this is what the award is all about, is it not?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's all about the impact that you've made. This is actually my third time applying for the award. And for the first and second time, I was never able to make it to the next stage, you understand? So I had to put in a lot of work. I did a lot of stories that got the attention of the global journalism scheme or space, if I should say. So I'd done stories that got the attention of the BBC. They had an interview with me on the back of those stories. I incorporate all of that into the CV, apply for it the third time around, and then, I mean, good for me, they were able to go through that, and then it went to my favor. So I was just quite intentional about all of that, because I felt if they go through my CV and see that over the years I wasn't able to do this and this and that, and fast forward, I've been able to work around the clock to ensure that I will get to that stage, then it means, oh, this is a young journalist who is intentional about wanting to get this award, or you know, want to get to a certain level. So yes, I feel the years of preparation to get to that level was the right time for me to, and when I got to the stages of the interview, to writing the exam and finally being announced as the winner was something that I was very intentional about, and then I prepared for it as well over the years. It didn't come easy. I worked for it.
Wonderful. And the work is there. That's the third time lucky. Dennis.
Yes.
This man has never been short of words. Today, he's struggling to put words together.
Well, I mean, because I personally I have a personal relationship with Godwin, aside being a work colleague.
Yeah.
He's also from my hometown. We connect way back in the university when we were on radio GIG. And even when he wasn't here, once in a while I'll watch his stories. And I remember the very first time I commented on his story, I told him this was a daring piece. I don't know if he still remembers. He can find that in his DM when I told him it was a very daring piece. And true to it, that's what he's actually been doing. He goes into spaces that very few people are willing to go into. And I mean, I'm really happy that this has really paid off. And this, for us, I think is just a springboard for him.
True.
And for us as Major General, like I keep saying, it has come home again. And it will come home again. All I can just say to my brother is that, do you only.
Okay. What was the meaning of that?
Well, that's to say that congratulations. I just hope that he gets it, because
just so I'm not sold.
Oh, no. So, okay, so you just say it after me. D in you only.
D in you only. Take it as it sounds.
D in you only. It has something to do with you. You has to do with head. But
or maybe you can just say Nkwane.
Nkwane.
Yeah. Nkwane, that is too elementary. But I mean, in all chorus, we say congratulations to you, Godwin.
Yes. Thank you
this
so
is
much.
A big one, and we wish you all the best. From us here on Ghana Tonight, the rest of the team. I mean, the early morning team ushered you in. This is how we are going to put you to bed.
Absolutely.
No, this is a separate show. You need to show working. What's happening?
Don't worry. Show working. Stuff. We actually will do that.
Also,
Alfred,
that's it.
over to you.
Well,
show working.
No, Godwin, come over.
Let's walk. I knew you had some.
Come over. Join us here.
What we say? Show working.
Show working.
Are you going to show working on a piece of paper?
Obviously not here. Show working.
Just a handshake.
No, a handshake that comes with a lot more than just a handshake.
Well, I would rather sign something for.
No, you saw the checkbook, right? Okay, now so that's just it's not something we're going to show to our viewers. But you know what? Thank you so much, and we celebrate you.
Thank you.
And obviously, the group CEO and management have done a great job earlier today, and putting smiles on all of us, our faces, walking in the shoes of Komla Dumont, and then also now Pakusi Asari setting the pace.
Yeah.
And the only 2 times Ghana has won it came from Media General. That's exactly what we're also very happy about. Congratulations, Godwin.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Good stuff. Now, on behalf of the rest of the team, thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. I am Alfred Ocansey.
I'm Dennis Wedam-Poberi.
My name is Godwin Asediba, the 2025 BBC Komla Award winner.
Have a good night.
Ghana Tonight is brought to you by Flamingo Paint. Superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.
Sasso insecticide spray and coil.